Good morning, afternoon, or evening depends or on where are you watching from or the time it is. After months of wanting to do this work, I'm finally able to bring you this information about the ascension process for all of you English speaker. The purpose of this first of many videos is to unify the information about ascension all over the planet, since the person who gives us this information is Spanish speaking, but it's the most reliable and confirmed information that we can have. I am Maria. I am a member of the Galactic Confederation, and I'm translating all the knowledge Andrea Barnabe is bringing to all of us in Spanish. If some of you can understand Spanish, I recommend you to go to the channel of Naty Faviano in YouTube and watch all the programs they already have made, okay? Because there is a lot. I'm starting with the first of them, Fifth Dimension, Part 1. I'm gonna say that this is the first time I do something like that. I wanted to bring the information, as I say, and I have my notes here by my side. So I will be reading, and humbly I will be giving my best for all of you to understand all the information translating, which is a really bit hard for me because it's not the normal language or the normal words that you usually can use when you talk in English with somebody or someone. And I apologize if I say something wrong or I commit some fail, because I stopped to talk English a bit ago and I'm restarting again. So the first thing is that I will start with the basis as if we knew nothing about 5D, because this program was made more than 1 year ago, like 1 year and 1 month or two maybe, in May of 2020. And I want to introduce Andrea Barnabe for all of you. She's a member of the Galactic Confederation. She's a member of the Melchizedek Order, and she's a cosmic librarian. Okay, she brings us all the necessary information that the human being must know for the ascension process. She is part of a pack of souls who came conscious of who they are. Born without veil or with open memory. That is how they born. And she brings the information so that the planet and the human race can move to the next evolutionary step. Each evolutionary step, it's called dimension or octave of frequency. So I apologize again for my English, but I will be better, I promise. In 2012, by planning of the administrators, the planet Earth gave closure an end to the cycle of the third dimension, with a pause in the middle that we are transcending since then, to start in 2026 with the next octave of frequency very high, because we are leaving the third dimension, jumping the fourth, which is not physical. That is why it's called quantum leap or quantum jump, and therefore information is needed to know how we place ourselves there, how we raise the frequency, and everything we have to accompany to make this mutation, because we are doing a mutation. We are the human race placing ourselves in the next level. Andrea has always come voluntarily in her incarnations, in most of them as a scribe or librarian, since Atlantis 230,000 years ago, incarnation after incarnation, civilization after civilization, She is in charge of collecting the information of how the civilization was evolving and sending this information to the Universal Library or Akasha. Its role is through the information explained from quantum physics to give all the data needed to help level the human race to ascend to the next higher level, called the fifth terrestrial dimension. And the race, when it is well established, will be called solar humans or Koradi humans. This is the name of the race in fifth dimension, Koradi humans. Really beautiful, right? So now I'm going to explain that Naty and Andrea usually makes the program live, okay, in YouTube every Friday. Every Friday they make the Cosmic Librarian, the Cosmic Library, sorry. For me, it's not the same because I don't have another person telling me the question and then I read. So I will be reading the question and the information Andrea gives or gave. Okay, like usually Naty reads the question and Andrea gives the information. I'm gonna read for you everything, okay? And the thing is that I translate the program as they made. So a lot of questions were made for the people who are watching the program live every Friday, okay? So I will bring this information for all of you, but some questions or the last part of the program are questions from the people who is watching. So I'm gonna start with the information as they did. The first is when coming on mission, does the packaging, the sex, the place where we are born have to do with the mission? The answer is all volunteers have been exactly where they have to be born, because on planet Earth, at continent or geopathic level, there are 51 planetary vortices distributed throughout the planet, which are going to be connected to the new electromagnetic grid of the planet, a new clean solar grid, based crystal that erases the previous metrics of control. So we have been distributed to incarnate in the countries or territories where those 51 planetary vortices are. So yes, we choose the place to born because of the mission, okay? What is going to happen with the human in the fifth dimension? What the human will do is an alignment to the new step of frequency, much higher than the frequency of the fifth dimension. The third dimension allows us to vibrate at 7.7 Hz, but in the fifth dimension we will start at 51 Hz. The higher the electromagnetic charge in our energetic field automatically triggers the need to accommodate the molecular biology as well as the conscious state. For this, we are having the high energy inputs in the portals such as 1111 or 99 or 88. This means 8th of August, 9th of September, 11th of November. These days are called portals. And in these portals, they send us these high range frequencies that hit our DNA, making our physical bodies increase the resistance and activate more applications. Always talking about the electronic computer component that we have, because we work as a software, okay? With these high frequencies, we will activate the 12 strands of DNA, with which we were designed, since in the third dimensions only 2 of them were used. The other thing that is going to happen is at the consciential level, is that we will stop using the analytical mind mode and start using the consciential level, which is higher. With the mind, we only connect with the situation of the earth. with the consensual level, which is a much higher stage of mind, we will connect with everything that is alive on the planet Earth, from which we were disconnected until now, and with the 36th dimension of this cluster of the universe. This means that we are going to connect with everything around us. We are going to connect with all the planet, and we are going to connect with all the dimensions we have until 36th dimension. Okay, we are going to be multidimensional beings. What else will we experience in this dimensional leap? On the one hand, we will have to accommodate our human body, space suit, to the vibrational level to belong to the Earth frequency. And on the other hand, the Earth itself is installing the next step at the socio-cultural level. This means that all the cultural scans fall to reassemble in the next step. The food system falls. The financial economic system falls to become a productive economic system. The medicine pharmacy system falls and is disarmed as it is, because the pharmacy is not biocompatible with the body. We will have pharmacology coming from the earth. The educational system falls. The school programs all die because they were made for the third dimension, but become obsolete in the fifth dimension. Our biology changes. The human race as a race change, and the planet has to be adjusted socioculturally. This change has been seen since 2012. 2012. I can bet a lot of you can remember the end of the world in 2012, but it wasn't true. It was the end of the third dimension. Okay, right now, the third dimension, or the matrix of control, is sustained by the collective mind. Okay, so we have to deprogram our minds to let the third dimension fall completely. How is the change from carbon to silicon? Literally, it is a new biomolecular structure, or our human body is made by cosmic geneticists at the request of the source. The creator sends the design request, and then in each universe, galaxy, or solar system, there is a team of medical geneticists at the cosmic level that are aligned to the requests of the creators and have to manufacture and create the DNA. This human body receives all the information from the universe. It is a fractal through the DNA fibers that now has to be accommodated to a body more adapted to the ascension of the race. Our geneticist Enki, or Saham, is the one who designed this container at the request of the source. What he did was to assemble to our 12 DNA fibers a Caduceus code, or Cadiz2 code, which automatically modifies us every time we receive frequency to pass to another dimension. It detonates an activator that it is an encrypted code that our DNA has, and what it produces is change or mutation of the chemicals. The chemicals of the previous dimension are erased, and automatically, as long as the body is in condition to take those frequencies, these conditions are to be detoxified of toxics and with an alkaline pH of 8-9. With the blood clean and detoxified, the body mutates automatically, erasing the chemicals and creating new ones. All humans who are doing this process or preparing for it are deleting carbon as a chemical element that allowed us to metabolize energy through protein food to keep us alive. All those who are leveling for the fifth dimension are changing this carbon to silicon, and we will get the energy from the solar charge, not from the food, from the photons of the sun, so directly being able to charge this energy from the sun directly or with photonic feeding. For this they came the sole pack of vegans to teach us to eat only what Mother Earth gives, without discussion about eating meat or not, because this goes beyond that. Eating what Mother Earth gives, we make sure that the food is charged with solar or aliphatic energy. The previous energy was protein energy. A human body in fifth dimension doesn't admit cells that not vibrate as food. They are not compatible with the silicate crystal base, since it metabolizes everything that is alive. So we need alive food, food with light. What does it mean? Like vegetables, fresh and fruit, most part of them, okay? That is why we'll not admit dead cells of animal or vegetable meat, since the intestines has no more metabolic enzymes to metabolize dead cells. So by eating a piece of meat, we cannot metabolize a piece of meat, and then this meat will literally rot in the intestine and can make us end in the hospital. Okay, this is when the process of crystallize our intestine are done. So we are not be able to eat that food. Okay, it is not about eating that. Not sorry. One moment, just I get lost on my notes. Since the body in fifth day only admits living cells, literally fruits, as I say, since the human being began to eat meat by the elite who wanted to densify us, not to evolve and slaves us. Okay, so we are not eating meat because of evolution. We are eating meat because of the elites wanted us to be slaves. Okay. Don't eat fried food. Don't eat refined white food like flours, because it intercepts the aliphatic energy of the sun. Do not eat. You can take stevia and refined sugar, cane sugar, etc., but not sugar. As it is. Our designers brought to Earth all the food, trees, and plants necessary for the fifth dimension. That is why Mother Earth has everything necessary for this nourishment in the fifth dimension. Okay, I'm gonna say 50. Let's not say all the time fifth dimension, because I'm reading 50, so I'm saying 5D, but it's not 5D, it's fifth dimension. Okay, so is this the first time this process is done? And for the race Homo sapiens, it is the first time this happens. For other races that have existed here on the planet, it has happened about 5 times before. Since 75,000 years ago, when Homo sapiens was created, it is the first time. Okay, so for the Homo sapiens, it's the first time we jump into another dimension. And this is something important, because ascension symptoms are hitting us from more than 1 year, 2 years ago. Okay, there is people who are feeling these symptoms a lot of time ago. So the question is what are the symptoms of this ascension process? And there are a lot of symptoms. Everyone has been experiencing these symptoms, and we will have to erase the disease paradigm. Okay, we are not sick. An alkaline human body receiving alkaline energy from the sun never gets sick. Okay, it is an inviolable biology. There we can leave the mental paradigm of disease that is 100% obsolete in 5D, because in 5D all bodies are alkaline, and in alkaline body, disease doesn't exist. The bodies to pass the fifth dimension will go through painful processes, because it will be comparatively as if we die and are born again, but this time without dying, to change the dimension, because it is the first time we make this jump with the race alive. We will mutate from an old body to a new body. It is like changing from a low-end car to a high-end Tesla. It is the same. I'm gonna change my old Volkswagen to have a new Tesla. The calibration will have to be helped. We will have to change the better habits with what we put in our body through our mouth nutritionally. The rest works only when our DNA receives the new high-end frequencies that are being sent through the different energetic portals. If we have a basically detoxified body and other karma cleansing factors, we are going to receive the new frequency, gamma frequency, that turn on the power button to do the mutation right. Okay? It is not the same to calibrate the body of a vegan who takes care of himself to change the body of a person who consumes meat, alcohol, tobacco, etc. Because he will suffer a lot of physical pain, a lot of disorder due to the change. Yeah, it's not the same. The geneticist doctors program where the frequencies enter the human body to drive the cellular mutation. Specifically, they enter through the central nervous system. Everything we have in the axis that is not symmetrical, brain, medulla, the medulla, I don't know if this translated in a right, in a, wow, sorry. The medulla, spine, and brachii, so the new frequency enters through there, through all the things that are not symmetrical, okay? So since we only have one. Then this is distributed to the whole human body so that it mutates according to the zones that have to recalibrate. Some human beings have to recalibrate everything and will have more pain. This distribution of the new frequencies is through the secondary part of the central nervous system, which are muscles, tendons, nerves, ligaments, and joints. In this part, we will have a lot of pain, cramp, contractures, etc. A lot of pain in the body, in the physical body. I can bet a lot of you have been feeling these symptoms for a long, long time ago, and you are thinking, oh, fuck, this is hurting. But if you can wait, like, sometimes 2 days and sometimes 2 weeks, it depends. But they came, this pain came and then goes like alone by itself, okay? There are people who have even been left without walking for 2 days, like for really, really painful contractures and cramps, okay? And have had severe muscle pain, which disappear as soon as the tissues has managed to register the new frequency that came in. While the muscle is registering, it contracts, okay? And at the end, it decontracts, okay? It's like the frequency came, the muscle get contract, and when the frequency is already installed in the body, the muscle decontract, okay? This is what I was explaining. Each body is unique and will have its own symptoms and pains. It is advisable to take magnesium, okay, to help the process, since it's not a medication but a chemical element, okay? Magnesium, and I take magnesium in the night before go to bed. It's the best time to take magnesium, okay? After 40, the body stops producing it magnesium. It's involved in, okay, after the age of 40, the body stops producing the magnesium, okay? And magnesium is involved in 500 metabolic functions that cannot be done, which is why it is super important to consume it daily if you don't get it through the diet, okay? So if you don't have a diet rich in magnesium, it is advisable to take it as a supplement, okay? Specifically after 40, okay? And now we have question and answers. And somebody made a question about the children born already vegan. As all this has a plan, no change is made from a Monday for a Tuesday, okay? As the earth is on a plan of the higher hierarchies and under the plan of the created. And from there, the whole line is lower, okay? Well, geneticists have conditioned package of souls that are entering known as indigo soul, crystal souls, rainbow soul, and diamond souls. Are packages of souls that already in the womb of their mothers, who have also been mothers determined, capable of gestate a body for a soul of higher vibration, for their very healthy biological body, sorry again, can be born there because their atomic file it's very high. By packages of souls for generations, they were sending souls every 10 years to incarnate with much sorry, with much higher frequency, okay? And in their brain mass, they had applied a program with all the information of what they had to do, and with all that they should not be attached to things of third dimension. Thus coming programs so that they don't have to be tough anything, how to feed, how to connect with animals, etc. This is about the children's was born when a children is born vegan, okay. It's it has the logic, the answer. The thing is that sometimes the children born vegan and the fathers insist to eat meat, okay, or do something, but whatever, everything is under a plan. Another question somebody did was that, will we remember the people we know from third dimension, or do we lose the memory? Nice question. As I say, this video was made 1 year ago, and 1 year ago we were managing the information about the 3 days of darkness. Andrea was giving this information in the cosmic news they made every Wednesday, and she made maybe the 3 days of darkness. Maybe it doesn't has to happen, okay. So I'm gonna read the answer of this time, but the information about if we are going to lose the memory or remember the people from the third dimension is right. So I'm gonna read everything, but maybe you have to know that some information maybe has changed a little bit, because we always have a plan, but this plan is not always 100% make at it is in the first time, okay. So when the 3 days of darkness or the stop of the planet occurred, the separation of the third dimension human beings and fifth dimension beings is going to happen, because literally the third dimension is disassembled in two, like when the cells of a zygote are separate, thus suffering a mitosis, okay. The planet Earth and all that it has inside is going to suffer for the first time that cellular divisions, like the planet Earth is going to divide itself in two. This will happen when the planet suffers the stop. For the moment, we are living an interface, living in a 3D world, and incorporating fifth dimension things. This strong interface will last from 2012 to 2026, approximately, okay? Although it is possible that the time will be accelerated because we are doing very well. And this already was said too. The time is speeding up because the human race is doing really well. We are rising our vibration, doing the process really, really good. If with the just at the Bible quotes, taking taken taking as a book of information and not as a religious book, because they were originally designed to inform the Bibles. Okay, you have 25% of information that is true in the Bible. Okay, there will come a time when the wet will be separate from the chaff. That is third dimension human beings and fifth dimension human beings. Why? Because we have to know and respect all those human beings that by free will signed that they would not make the transition to the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension human beings that understand about unconditional love, with unconditional love, we have to learn to respect, detach, and let free. Even if we have genetic links with the person, even if it's our mother, our neighbor, or our dear friends of many years, that if I don't sign the transition, it will not transfer. Okay, the separation of the wet and the chaff will be made. Okay, so if we sign to make the transition, we will go to fifth dimension. And if I'm gonna say an example, and if my mother doesn't sign the transition to fifth dimension, I have to let her be in third dimension, and don't be attached, and don't be mad or sad. Okay. First, there will be first in this transition, there will be a stage before the planet stops and the mitosis takes place, where we will be all mixed, third dimension and fifth dimension beings, where we see each other and we can understand each other. That is one of the symptoms where we will see that the process is taking place, and each process will be unique and repeatable and individual. It's like maybe a lot of you can feel like you are not matching or yes, matching really well with the third dimension way of think. We are like okay, I can be here with the third dimension people, but I don't match so much well. So this is like right now we are mixed, and this is something personal for me. I think that the next year we are going to start this separation, because there is a lot of people actually working in some projects of fifth dimension, new communities and all those things. Okay, but this is the thing. The first time we are going to be mixed, all of us, we are mixed, and we have to handle. Now it's like, okay, we are starting to see that we are not matching anymore with the third dimension way to think, or the way they make the things. If we have a higher consciousness and we see that those around us don't change, we cannot demand of them. We cannot demand it of them. We must respect the free will of those around us. Of course, for the human race to make an ascension step, a number of ascending soul is assured. There is going to be a period where we will be together. First, we will be support each other well, then we will not support each other anymore, and then we will separate, as I was saying. When the planet makes the cellular division, we will not see each other anymore with the third dimension beings. From the fifth dimension, the veil falls, or Brahna, which is called the veil, which divides all dimensions for all those who are placed in fifth dimension. This will make the Brahnas fall between all dimensions. So we will become multidimensional beings. We will become multidimensional, meeting with all disembodied beings that inhabit other dimensions. And we no longer see the third dimension. From fifth dimension down, there will be no connection. From fifth dimension down, no connection. But from fifth dimension up, we will be completely connected, okay? But there will be from fifth dimension up, and therefore we will see all the beings that inhabit these high dimensions and relatives who ascended and didn't incarnate anymore, okay? Once the planet makes demitosis after the 3 days of darkness, the planet will only have fifth dimension, and the memory of the previous dimension will be erased, okay? Just like when we were born on this planet. All the incarnated souls who volunteered to make the transfers came to form the family group with the souls who are going to transfer to 5D. They will go all together, including the pets. Yeah, the pets will come with us to the fifth dimension. Another question somebody did was like, if someone dies now, he loses the opportunity to ascend. What happens now that he disembodied? This will absolutely depend on their incarnational contract, okay? For this interface period, where some souls will live and others will not, all souls who incarnated now were asked if they want to ascend to fifth dimension or stay in third dimension. The options are few. It what schematizes like this. Third dimension souls who choose not to belong to anything, okay? These souls, no matter how old they are going to die, because the only way to leave the planet is for the body to expire, okay? So the one who does not belong to the planetary change because he or she choose to do so retires from the planet. Nobody is going to kill anybody, okay? Before their time, they simply signed a vital contract, assuming that you do not stay. If by 2026 you will be 35 years old, if you have chosen not to be in the fifth dimension, the body expires instantly with an aggressive cancer or a car accident or cardiac arrest, okay, heart attack, and the soul goes on its way because the soul does not die, okay? If it did not choose to belong to the chain, it has to go. The administrators of the plan have prepared the scenario in 5 planets that are photocopies of the planet Earth for those souls to continue with their evolution in third dimension on another planet, but not in the Earth, because Earth is prepared for ascension for fifth dimension, okay? If, for example, a person with 90 years old has signed to make the transfers to fifth dimension and his body is very old, or on the contrary, he's a drug addict with a very emaciated body, that person dies quickly, and in the astral is calibrated solically and sent to be born from mother quickly to incarnate in a baby and can make the transfer to fifth dimension, okay? So it's like if you have your contract to 5D or not. If you don't have a contract to 5D, you will die and will continue your evolution in third dimension. And if you sign it to the 5D, it doesn't matter how old you are or how fucked is your body. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I can say this word. And it doesn't matter, okay? You will make the ascension to fifth dimension anyway. So, another question is, when the symptoms attacks the central nervous system, anxiety, insomnia, tension, is it normal? And the symptoms are at an emotional level. The human body is an assembly of mind, body, and spirit. And these 3 things will be affected during the transition to fifth dimension, and each one will calibrate what needs to be calibrated. If a person if a person has been doing yoga 3 times a week for 20 years, he will be in an harmonic of consciousness that will not affect him at all at the spiritual and emotional level, but simply at the molecular level. But the one who is totally distracted and has not worked at all, will have to calibrate the 3 parts. Okay, that's not the saying if you are taking care of yourself, of your body, mind, and spirit for the last 20 years, or if you are not doing this, or you weren't doing this. If in 3rd dimension you did not connect with anything, didn't love anyone, didn't connect with animals or anything, in 5th dimension, you will connect with everything that is alive. At the spiritual level, we will elevate the spirit. And, for example, we will no longer be able to be in urban places with noises and without nature. We will have to move to a place in nature. The physical change from carbon to silicon and the emotional reset. Emotional reset will have as a symptom bipolarity. Like, imagine you wake up in the morning and you are suddenly sad and suddenly happy. This is an Ascension symptom, okay? Bipolarity. One of the best symptoms that means that we are using both lobes at brain level, potentially at full power, okay? Since in 3rd dimension, we only use the left lobe, okay? In 5th dimension, we will be using both lobes of the brain, okay? While we are calibrating, we will have horrible emotional, cerebral, or physical symptoms that can make us think that we need to go to the doctor and medicate. It is not recommended to medicate because the chemical medicines bring us back to 3rd dimension. If you need medicine, do it with homeopathic medicine that does not lower the vibrational file. Bipolarity is because every day we do a small training of using both frontal lobes until we have it fully activated, okay? It is to recalibrate the brain, and we will activate the left and the right simultaneously, okay? We should not think that we are getting sick. We have to erase the paradigm of the programming that these symptoms happen because of illness, okay? Because it is not true. We are having Ascension symptoms because in the body calibrating to 5th dimension or in the process with our clinician cannot get sick, okay? If your body is totally alkaline, you cannot get sick, okay? Another question we have is that those who are in the process of 5th dimension, the aging of matter will remain so. And the info came at us. It is playing in stages, that mutation through transfer and in the stages. Those of us who are alive today, regardless of age, as long as we recalibrate the molecular biology and can accommodate the DNA to 5th dimension, by putting a lot of will go along with the plan, okay? For this first package of Ascended Soul, the limit to die has been cut from 90 to 120 years. We will not reach 120 in a wheelchair or paralyzed in a bed. We will not age as in 3rd dimension, okay? Since the original DNA information returned, the DNA has been corrected through the incoming frequency with the photons and the information that they bring as programs. And the DNA itself with an antioxidant cellular information, telomeres, telomerase, and all this change the information register and makes a stop. And the one who is 80, it reduces to a vitality. More or less, we will reach 120 years old, but with a vitality of 50 or 60 years, okay? Aesthetically, we will not change much. We will not change much. But Cellularly, we will be as vital as a 25 years old. We will be older, but we will not deteriorate physically. The second package will calibrate, and those bodies will live about 300 years. Then they will go to about 700 years, and when the planet is totally in fifth dimension, they will be in a forever young body with an appearance of 30 or 40 years, and they will be in the same body for about 11,000 years in the same body without dying. This will be level of little by little. Take care of your body as your template because it is sacred, okay? Because, okay, like the people like me, maybe we reach the 120 years with the vitality of the 50 or 60 years, which is really good. Another question someone did. I'm gonna drink a little bit of water. Another question we have, it is how to know if we have signed the passage from third dimension to fifth dimension. Okay, you can tell via symptoms. Okay, if you have the symptoms, you transfer. Okay, this is simple. And if not, the other option to know if you are very distracted or asleep, it is a mechanical way with the Akashic record, okay, readings, and asking the specific question, entering the history of the person and reading what the person signed when entering the Akasha. Okay, so you have the option to go to your Akashic records and do a reading and ask if you sign the transfer to fifth dimension. The other method is with the regressive hypnosis, going back to the moment when you were signing the contract before you came and knowing that the therapist does not do rituals or strange things. Okay, so if you have hypnosis, regressive hypnosis, it's recommended for you to know really well the therapist. Okay, because it's something a little bit delicate. Another question. Can relationship be terminated due to the change of frequency? So if a relationship can come to an end, we all signed a life contract, okay? Until 2012, we live in the third dimension with karma and dharma, okay? Karma is the experience bringing problems we have with other beings in other experience, and dharma, it's the life without problems of other lives with relatives or anything like that, okay? When we close the third dimension, we close the karma. But if we were born before 2012, we must close the law of the karma and say goodbye, since the 5D is lit from dharma, and we must clean the karma, okay? So karma is not coming with us to the fifth dimension. You have to close all your karma issues. Those people who are separating with the transition sign it to work the karma until 2012. But from 2012, the karma is dissolved and already living only with dharma. Those people separate since the karma is fixed before 2012. So these people who makes the transition to fifth dimension raises their frequency so much that they understand that their path with that person no longer correspond with them, and they want to separate from those people because we incarnate to close that karma, and in 2012 it was closed suddenly. Okay, they can separate and continue with the link in a healthy way. Those of us who came from other dimension on a mission, oh sorry, this is another question, but I haven't put in the black letter. Okay, so I'm gonna make the question better. Those of us who came from another dimension on a mission, what do we do once the mission on planet Earth is over? Okay, now my mission is over. What can I do now? This will depend on what we have signed in the mission. This is in the vital contract, okay? For example, I signed at the 80-year Morse, so I know I will be here for 80-year Morse. Because once the mission ends, while we continue incarnated, we do it living in Dharma, which means to make the path of life in happiness. And that person stays here, living this way and gestating the new earth for the new humanity of planet Earth, continuing the life with ours in Dharma in the path of love. How beautiful it is that. That you have finished the mission does not mean that you have to leave or anything like that. It means that we continue to gestate life in Dharma for our descendants. And they are not our possession, and they are the new humanity of the planet. We have to gestate the new platforms in love and happiness without karma. For example, suppose you have reached 108 years old, working in mission. There are two possibilities. As a general plan, the souls that we have volunteered to come to make the transition from third dimension to fifth dimension are all released. It is our last incarnation on Earth. But there is the option that if you want to come for a large package of incarnations, such as 100 incarnations as a fifth human being. Okay, so you have two options. You release your soul to come again, you leave the planet, or you can come like 100 incarnations more as the fifth dimension human. I will leave. I will leave because I have something more to do in another places. Crystal children and rainbow children are born without karma, okay? And we who have karma must close the karma with a time frame from 2012 to 2026. As karma does not transfer to fifth dimension. Doesn't transfer. As I say, I apologize for my English because I stopped to talk English, and sometimes you need to talk again to have again a good accent. Another question we have is about the Christ grid, okay? What is the Christ grid made of, and why it is required or must it be put in place, okay? Everything that happens to the planet and everything that happens socioculturally to the human population on the planet happens because there is a spider-like mesh woven into the planet, okay? That mesh works because it has a specific software or program to hold the third dimension, exactly like a computer software in a computer, okay? The mesh is a specific software to hold each dimension. It is an electromagnetic file designed specifically for each dimension. It is always a mesh, but the meshes are designed with sacred geometry, and any of them contain the software that is installed to the mesh. Our DNA links to that grid, okay, which is what is happening to all of us now with the influx of the new frequencies at this time. We are not only mutating, but we are linking to the Earth grid, okay, which is the old third dimension Earth grid is what is known as the matrix control, okay? That grid was disconnected 5 years ago by the administrators of the plan. However, it is still in matrix mode, It's because his mind is programmed and he has to deprogram it. Okay, the old mesh is no longer there. It has no existed for 5 years. It has no more program, and the mesh was connected that wraps above the previous mesh, which is called solar or chrystic mesh, and it's woven with the sacred geometry, with its icosahedron and octahedron, glued faces to faces. Between the two form a dodecahedron. Okay, dodecahedron means 12, and we have 12 DNA fibers. The new solar chrystic grid is dodecahedron. Each face of the grid connects with fiber of our DNA. And this is how we link to the new software of the chrystic grid. This happened so that we can sustain ourselves in a new socio-cultural and genetic program. This ensures that we as a collective consciousness, as the Koradi race, and it's going to be able to be carried out because we are held planetary by the chrystic software. And chrystic means crystal, not chrystic as religion means. Okay? Understand the term chrystic as a crystalline base and not as something religious. This mesh has integrated in the new program the frequency of the crystal, of all the crystal in a range of 7 frequencies: silicon, quartz, diamond, etc. The being in charge of this is Cryon. He is the one in charge of the magnetic service, and he's the one who puts the program to the meshes. And as we biomolecularly mutate, we dislodge the carbon and give place to make silica. And the silica is a crystal that we do is linked with the computer program of the chrystic mesh from our DNA fibers, not only to be able to sustain the fifth dimension functioning structure, but also so that socioculturally we can also make the fall of the 3D matrix, sociocultural programs. And we can start the new fifth dimension sociocultural platforms that can be sustained with the mesh, because without the program in the mesh, they are not sustained to be able to carry life socioculturally. These platforms will be the same, but updated to fifth dimension: politics, education, medicine, nutrition, etc. Okay, so I hope for all of you that you like this content. Sorry for my English. This is the first time I made something like that. I will be. Hey, I have some public here bothering me. I hope you like. I hope all of you like this content. I did it with my best. I apologize again for my accent or my English, because, as I say, a lot of time not talking English, and this is a really complicated translation for me, but I want to bring to all of you this information. I hope the next can be better, for sure. And the next program, I'll be translating the information about Jesus and his real history, bring it on the hand of Andrea, of course. Hope you, if you like this program, you can give a like and share, for everybody can have this information. As much people we have this information, it will be better for the ascension process. Okay, so thank you so much. Send you much love, light, and blessings for all of you.